Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping down into the world of Bitcoin. We're taking a look at a few different things here, everything from the wallet counts all the way through to what is going on in the price action in the charts. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you have not yet joined us in Discord, you are missing a trick. Go ahead, check it out, linked in the description below. It's completely free. It's the first place that we go to notify you of the ins and the outs of everything that is going on in the crypto space. It's completely free, as I said, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So check it out in the description below. If you're looking for more from the crypto space, why not check out the Patreon services linked in the description below as well. So many things going on, but let's jump down into Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source here. And I just want to briefly talk about what's been going on in terms of the price action of BTC because it isn't overly that impressive. And next week we've got, a lot of different things that are going to occur. So do stay tuned for some of that. I'll probably do a whole video on weekly closing for tomorrow, Sunday, obviously, and then talk about some of the things that are happening next week because I think they're going to be pretty big for the space. But let's see how this weekend plays out so far. If I just zoom out here, you can kind of see that we've been ranging. We've been ranging pretty much since the 1st of December here, just going sideways between these two areas, right? We have the demand zone at the bottom and the supply zone at the top here. And you can kind of see that we've been bouncing between these two things. We had the breakout of the triangular wedge up to the supply zone, break down to the demand zone, back up to the supply zone, and we're breaking down from the supply zone, looking to kind of aim down towards the demand zone area once again. Now, this is smart money concepts. For those who do not overly know, basically it's where the liquidity is where the sellers are and where the buyers are, and basically you're just ranging between the two. So nothing but boring kind of, sideways trading activity. We obviously did complete the bigger three-wave move that we spoke about a while back. We saw this low point down here. And then we saw this bounce to the upside. I still think we've got this lower range between 13,200 and 14,700 still to play out. So there's still more room to the downside here before we see a bigger moves to the upside. And I think next week is going to be a big catalyst for that. Now, if I bring up our wallet reports here, we can of course see that we've got the Bitcoin whales still dumping on retail. And what we mean by that is that there are buyers out there. And those buyers are, of course, our retailers. Okay, retail who believe that, the bottom is in and all that kind of wonderful stuff, basically just buying up and dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, which, for the most part is a pretty sound way of going, right? And the only concern I have here is a bigger economic climate where eventually most of these, I say most, that's probably not true. A lot of these retail investors will unfortunately sell, and they will sell at a loss just because they need to be out of necessity, in my opinion. So at the moment, what do we see? Well, we see the whales are decreasing and we see the retail is increasing. There's always a buyer, there's always a seller. In this case, you've got whales selling to retailers who believe that the price is obviously going to go to the moon or something to that effect. Now, essentially, we have Krakens. These guys usually just accumulate during the bear market, so then dump it all in one go. And I'll show you what that would look like if I can find the right tab. I think it's this one here. So basically 2018, they accumulate during this bear market. And they dump it all on the market. And I say dump it, I basically mean they flood the system. More Bitcoin is readily available to sell. Therefore, the price naturally goes down, supply and demand and all that kind of usual stuff. So you can see here that basically this action brings in the actual bear market low point. And we haven't seen this kind of thing just yet. In 2022, for these wallets, we've seen them accumulating, but we haven't seen them dumping on the market yet. In terms of whales, well, we've seen them just basically coming out, de-risking their positions, and they're selling directly to the retail investors. Even from these June lows, you can see here, we've been talking about it for months. Essentially, they're selling to retail investors who believe that the bottom is in. The same thing is happening again. So, history tends to repeat itself in that kind of regard. So just kind of keep these things in mind, that the data is on chain with the larger, bigger institutional players and the whales, the millionaires, the multimillionaires, the billionaires. They're not buying, they are selling. And the only people who are actually buying is retail money because they're following some kind of trend trend line maybe, or some kind of something, some influencer on TikTok is telling them that now's the time to buy, whatever, right? Essentially, the data doesn't suggest that now's a good time to be buying. If the big money isn't there, then essentially there's no reason to think that this price is going to move up in any strong way until big money wants to take it in that direction. So kind of bear that in mind. Now, the other thing I want to talk about here is obviously with all of this stuff going on, if we actually jump down into some smart money concepts here, okay, this might look a little bit new to those who are maybe not so familiar. Essentially, we are, of course, tracking some really interesting kind of structures. We obviously down here in the green, this is where the buyers are. Okay, so buying is all usually going to happen down here. Up here, we have obviously all the selling, and you can see that the ranges in terms of this 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 algorithmic smart money concepts is drawn on is different to how I have mine drawn up here. Okay, I use this kind of way that I normally would do it, which is basically just looking at where the wicks are, where we're entering and getting rejected and all that kind of stuff. With smart money concepts is doing the same thing, but it is obviously algorithmic based rather than just, you know, someone actually human going in there and doing it. And that being said, so they've got slightly different areas, but you can kind of see the same concepts here. At the moment, you can see here we have this huge point of a pull to the downside. Let me just show you that. Right, we have the high wick, we come down, and here we have this little label. This is a change of character label, and this change of character basically tells us that we were going up, and there was a change of character here, right? We were going up, and now we're going down. Okay, so we have that pretty clearly labeled here. Now the red area, this is an area of retest, so normally we'd come down, we'd retest this red area, get rejected. I estimate that we're likely to come down here back to the green area, the demand zone I showed you earlier. And this is, again, something that you'd see in the reverse to this, right? You broke out, but we haven't come down and retested it again since this breakout and this change of character just here below this white line. So essentially, we're looking for this to come back down into this range and then probably come back up again. So ranging, essentially. Now, next week, we might see this get lost. Okay, so we have a change of character here, but it's not a major change of character. You know, we've got a strong high point at the top here. We've got a break of structure on the way to the upside, but it didn't last. And down here, we've got this bigger change of character. And this bigger change of character is the one that is actually really important because we haven't really got this in a positive light either. Okay, so up here, we have a break of structure where we rallied on up, but down here, we have this change of character. We haven't broken anywhere near as high enough to basically change this. So our macro direction here is that we're probably going to lose this green area and head down to some of these ones down here as well. Okay, so just kind of keep this in mind that depending on how you want to look at the market, whether you like smart money concepts, whether you like Elliott wave theory, which obviously we have completed our structure to the upside here, 335. You know, basically they're coming together and they're telling us a very similar story here that we are likely to see this move to the downside. Now, in terms of our subwave count, from an Elliott wave theory point of view, it looks like we have to come down here a little bit. We'll probably move up once we do this, just a little fraction, and then move down again as we kind of visit these lows. So I imagine that this, by the time it completes, would be a giant A, B, and C move like so. Not too dissimilar to what we saw over this side here. Okay, now it could be sped up a little bit. We might over the weekend just finish this one, then early next week move up, and then Tuesday, which is the big days, I think in the US for interest rates and stuff like that, we see this move to the demand zone again. So just kind of keep that in mind. If we lose this demand zone, then down we will be going. And I do think that is the direction that we should be going overall anyway. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. There's lots of things to think about. Big money's not buying. We have basically trading sideways between these two areas. And I'm kind of estimating that we're likely to lose the demand zone and break on down lower, as kind of indicated here on this 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 indicator, where we are potentially going to be looking at maybe testing some of these lows. And if we do lose these, well, then we're on track, guys, for that 13,200 to 14,700 macro low point when it comes to BTC. So keep an eye on that. I'll do a weekly close video tomorrow, see what the weekly positions are looking like, what we kind of expect to happen as we kind of get into the next week or so, as we look to close off 2022. So if you have found this useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, selecting all the notifications, and you won't miss another video. Join us down in Discord, and yeah, we'll catch you all in the next one, guys. Have a fantastic day.